What is truth depends on your own intention, your dedication, and your humility. Now, realizing that God and truth are one and the same thing, that God is really the highest truth possible. If you just take things, calibrate everything in the universe, and keep following whichever calibrates the highest, you will end up with God. So just following truth itself will eventually take you to divinity. Divinity is the ultimate then, and it calibrates at infinity. So if you follow truth itself, even just intellectually, you end up with divinity. You end up with the obvious things that it is impossible for non-life to create life. So the materialist is stuck with the fact that life, how does life arise? Reductionist semiotics, you cannot get life from non-life. And people say, well, all the chemicals just fell together and life suddenly happened. Except that life is of a different dimension. They're not the same dimension, so that's mixing levels. The material non-living matter itself is a different level than life. So matter cannot be destroyed, it can only change form. Life itself cannot be destroyed. We can't repeat that too often. I have permission to ask this. It is impossible for life to be destroyed, resist. That is true at the level of infinity, resist. At the level of infinity, and thank you, we've done this many times to confirm, because it's a very important understanding. Life can only change form, it cannot be destroyed. Therefore, at physical death, where dust returns to dust, you can't die because death is not a possibility. You can only change form. In an infinite universe, then, with no beginning and no end, and no intrinsic causality, the only thing that can happen is it changes form. So the law of conservation of energy is that energies can only change form. Law of conservation of matter is that matter can only change form. The law of conservation of life, which seems starkly obvious, is that you cannot destroy life. It can only change form. Yeah. So you don't have to feel so guilty about swatting the fly. No. Whack. He just leaves a physical body and his etheric body, and he doesn't even notice. The fly doesn't even notice, resist. The fly doesn't even notice. He goes flying in his etheric body, and that's what he experiences as me all along. So nothing's changed. A couple of times I went out of body. I'd never even heard of being out of body. I was out of body, never even heard of it. Being gravely ill. Suddenly found myself outside the body. Never heard of it. Nothing changed. I was still me. I was myself. I had all my faculties. I could see, hear. I could move around in the room. I could be up on the ceiling looking down at the audience now. So if I laid down and went out of body, I could go up there and watch the audience there. I could go over there. I could then go over here. It's very neat. You don't have to drag your body with you. And of course, a lot of research has been done on this because of its implications for surgery. And people have made agreements to go out of body. They'll go up on top of the bookcase there and tell you what's on, and they come back after the surgery, come back in the body, and they'll tell you what's on top of the bookcase. So anyway, death is not a possibility. So you don't get death at 0 at all. You get neutrality at 200. So the ashes that you return to calibrate at 200, and your spirit stays the same as whatever it was when you left the world. So you go to the spirit world where below 200 are the levels of hell. And I say that kid who calibrated at the lowest I've ever calibrated anything, the Green River Killer was about 10 or 20. This kid was 5. I never saw any demon like that. That's a demon. So you go to that which you are. That you only obviously gravitate When you leave the body, you can only gravitate to that which you are. You can't gravitate to that which you are not, could you? You cannot become an impossibility. You can only fulfill a potentiality and a possibility.